Ladies and gentlemen, you ever seen a mouse when the lights come on? What does it do? It freezes, it shakes, and then it runs away. That's the ANC right now. And that light is Donald Trump. Donald J. Trump. Love him or hate him, was on the verge of doing something no Western leader had dared to do. Expose South Africa. Not the Rainbow Nation fantasy they've been trying to feed and shove down your throat. Not the 1994 broker. The real, raw, economically twisted, racially charged truth. He wasn't going to just talk about foreign investment and reconciliation. Nah. Hold up. Trump was about to flip the light switch on the ANC's little casino, where they roll dice with land, with power, and with people's lives. And the ANC, they did what they always do. Panic. They did what they always did best. Stay silent. Let's talk about the recent US tariffs and the sanctions whispering in the background like a loaded gun behind the curtain. Every single country around the world responds to conflict, fights back, negotiates, says something. But your beloved ANC, silent as a mouse in a snake tank. No comment, no action, no outrage. Why? Because if they talk, the truth leaks. If they react publicly, the media starts digging. Foreign powers start asking questions. Economic skeletons start rattling. Things like, where's the foreign aid money? Why are jobs still being lost while ministers get new cars? What happened to the billions and billions earmarked for development that disappeared like smoke? Why are certain racial policies defended even as they kill merit and collapse industries? Trump was dangerously close to shining a spotlight on that exact house of cards, and you know it. Let's be honest. Most of you watching right now had no idea that the United States slapped new tariffs on South Africa. Tell me if I'm telling lies. You didn't hear it on the ENCA. You didn't read it in the newspapers. You didn't hear it from the president. You didn't hear it from the ANC. You heard it from me. You heard it from the videos I've uploaded, including this one. From this mouth, from this platform, they wish they could shut down. And that's not by accident. They don't want you to know about this. And here's why. Because the second you know, you start asking real questions. You start asking questions like, wait, why are they tariffs? What is the USA punishing us for? What is the ANC hiding this time? How is this going to affect me and my family? And boom, you're now awake. And they hate that. They hate alert citizens. The ANC does not announce bad news, they bury it. They don't address scandals, they wait you out. They don't clarify, they confuse you on purpose. Because the more confused they are, the more confused you are, for that matter. The more you keep getting focused on grooving, gossiping, and gaslighting TV shows. Meanwhile, in the background, actual policies and economic betrayals are happening that will affect your food prices, your fuel prices, your job market, and your future. If you weren't watching the Sambit, the blueprint, if you weren't listening to someone who works from the shadows, if you weren't tuned into the only voice brave enough to say, hey, look at this, look deeper, think about this, you wouldn't have known. You'd be scrolling on TikTok, thinking everything is still vibes. Meanwhile, America just sent a warning shot, and the ANC, your beloved political party, is sitting there, smiling through the panic. They want you asleep, but here you are, waking up. So ask yourself, if they are hiding this, something like tariffs, what else are they hiding? And let me ask you something. Why are you not mad yet? Why are you sitting there, watching this like it's just another news segment? Do I look like a news journalist to you? Why are you sitting there acting like this doesn't affect your wallet? Like this doesn't affect your country? Like the ANC isn't laughing right now behind your back every time they pull a stunt like this, while laughing alongside the criminals they claim to try and stop? Do you know how dismissive they are about things that could ruin your life? They talk about economic collapse like it's just a mild inconvenience. They smile on podiums while foreign powers are slapping this country with more and more punishment. They act like you, the citizen, don't even need to know what's going on. And guess what? They're right. Because most of you don't react, let alone care. You don't ask questions, you don't protest, you don't progress, you just scroll to the next video after watching this one, like, shame man, shame South Africa. Anyway, you should be furious. But of course not, as long as you have your biltong and your rooibos, you're fine. You should be sick of the lies. You should be sick of the silence. You should be sick of watching this country be run into the ground while you're told it is progress. They are counting on your silence for their tyrannical strength. You think the ANC doesn't know how dismissive they sound every time they talk about this? They know. They do it on purpose. They speak in recycled speeches and generic technical fluff to make you feel dumb so that you can switch off your brain and say, yo, politics is too complicated, guys. Let them handle it. It's too complicated for me. That is exactly what they want. They want you to feel like that, because if they can convince you that you're too small to fight, that your arms are too short to box with them, they can keep being corrupt forever. Wake up. You should be angry. You should be infuriated. You should be mad at the lies, at the fake smiles, at the economic betrayal you have suffered over and over again, at the fact that you're the one paying the price for their greed and their cowardice. The sanctions won't hit them, in case you were wondering. They already have luxury houses, private medical care, overseas bank accounts. It's you who will feel the inflation. It's you who won't find a job. It's you who will struggle to buy bread while they sip imported wine with their Swiss accounts. So I will ask you again, why aren't you mad yet? Even a little bit. The ANC's fear is global embarrassment, let alone less trust from its own people, who have voted for them over and over again despite zero progress, maybe even backwards and negative progress from the beginning. Because here's what the ANC knows deep down. If America, especially under a leader like Trump, starts officially calling out the truth in South Africa, foreign investment gone, human rights investigations incoming. Oh, they're coming, trust me. Media exposure global. Can you feel it? Fake political masks ripped off, and they cannot afford it. So they say nothing, because saying nothing might force them to tell everything. The ANC has always been a narrative machine. We are the freedom fighters. We are building a better South Africa. We are for the people. But if Trump or anyone drags that into the international spotlight and exposes how that narrative is now a hollow lie discussed and dressed in struggle colors, the house collapses. That's why they're terrified. They're not scared of Trump because of what he'll do to them directly. They can run away from that very quickly. They're scared because his boldness, his disregard for fake diplomacy might be the spark that forces the world to look deeper into what the ANC has truly become. A movement that used to stand for justice now stands on the backs of the very people it promised to free. And here's the psychological part of it all. They know one wrong comment, one emotional reaction, one public piece of misinformation, one public mistake could expose decades of manipulation. It could unravel the economic lies they have told you and me day by day, the racial scapegoating, the moral hypocrisy, the misuse of international sympathy. So they sit still, they smile fake, they act diplomatic despite not knowing the meaning of the word, and say nothing, because silence is safer than truth. And what happens if the ANC does respond? If the ANC reacts publicly to Trump or US pressure, one of two things will happen. Number one, they lie, and the global media starts digging and proving them wrong, just like they do all the time. Number two, they tell the truth, and South Africans lose what they trust they still have. Either way, they lose. This is a lose-lose situation. So silence becomes their only defense. So next time you wonder why your president says zilch, why your government plays calm while the country bleeds from the inside, remember, it's not peace, it's panic. It's not diplomacy, it's damage control. They are not ignoring Trump. They are terrified of him. Because Donald Trump, he was one tweet away from dragging your little fake rainbow kingdom into the global interrogation room. And the ANC ain't built for that cross-examination. This is the Summer Sambit. Like, share, subscribe. My merch is out. And like always, I'll see you next time.